RuPaul Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's Sunday, January 31st, 2021, and welcome to Drag Race of Cubs Out Loud. We call it COLDR around here, and it's season 13, episode number 5, The Bag Ball Hunty. It's not really that. I just added that. For those of you that don't know who we are, my name's Gary. With me is my ever fabulous co-host over here.
Hello, everyone. It's Damon. Welcome to the show. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
Welcome to the Shade Show. Because, yeah. It's probably going to be a lot of things said tonight.
A lot happened this episode.
Yes. Why don't we get right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best woman win.
Okay, so overall thoughts on this episode. Put the pedal to the metal. Damon, what did you think of episode number 5?
I said so much runway. So much runway. So this is the traditional contest challenge. Where they all get together and they have to present 3 looks to the runway. One they have to make there in the workroom. Blah blah blah. That's the thing that always happens. It's a very familiar trope. We've seen it before. The ball is always a ball, and it a lot of the same things that we always have happened happened.
Okay, let me guess. Let me guess what happens that has happened every single time.
Okay, sure. Go for it. Let's do this. Okay. 1.
Someone doesn't have a concept. Somebody doesn't have a creative, artistic inspiration.
Maybe.
And one or more doesn't know how to sew.
That. Bing! There. You find out that someone usually has come onto Drag Race and doesn't know how to sew. And I'm gonna point it out right now because I want to say this now, Miss Simone. I don't understand it. I know who your sister is, and I'm a little concerned that you come onto this show and still don't got a lick of sewing talent in your body. Like, that makes no sense, considering who your drag sister is. Like, I'm just gonna call it out. I'm gonna call it out right now. Of all, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, I could potentially yell at the girls from New York or the girl from New York, but I'm gonna get to her later. But like, if you, I've said this so many times before, but if you don't, like, if you don't know how to sew, like, you should, I'm going to hate to say this, but you should probably not do Drag Race. Like, I'm going to hate to say it, like, because I feel like, because there's at least one challenge, if not more challenges, that are done where you need to have some concept of sewing. Or if you don't know how to sew, you need to get some of the basics down so that you can at least put something together and present something nice on the runway. Because hate this, like, this is where we are. We're in season 13. This is a money related thing now. It's definitely become that. Like, you need to coint to make the looks to get the runways. So on the flip of that, though, you need the skill to make the outfits to present onto the runway. And considering what we saw, the gamut of things that we saw that were made, it's a potential make or break moment. And yeah, like you need to know how to do it. So if you don't know how to do it, if you like get a class, go to a sewing, there's that Skillshare.com, like something, like do something, because it is I hate to say it, like it's not okay. And here we are in season 13, like especially now. Like if you were like earlier seasons, like maybe, but at some point every season there's this kind of challenge. So get a sewing machine, learn some little things just so you can get at least some of the basics so that you don't look like a fool.
Thank you.
Okay. You were ready with that soundboard. But yeah, I'm thoroughly disappointed in the fact that Miss Simone, who's drag sisters with Gigi Good, by the way, if you didn't know that, did not like call her sister up and be like, I've auditioned for a Drag Race, or I'm about to be on Drag Race. Can you give me some like tips and tricks or pointers real quick so I can know what to do to make something? I mean, no
Right.
offense. You a small bitch. So like patterns would probably work for you. You know, get something simple. You make I don't know if you made that like photo dress of you. I don't think you did, but you know, if you did, like that's a really good pattern to have made something unique and different, especially considering what the material that you had to make these outfits with was.
Right.
You could have made something very similar to what you came into the show on, and it probably would have worked.
Yeah. I just want to remind that Gigi Good's mother is the designer.
But her sister knows how to sew. We found that out for sure. She knows how to do it.
She does. But she picked it up for her mama.
And
so I think I know.
Mama.
I know. I'm not defending her. I'm just saying. I think that's a high expectation to expect her sister to teach her how to sew, because that definitely doesn't seem like Simone to me. Simone definitely seems like she's a conceptualist, like she's an artist. She would sketch out what she wants, and then she just hands it over. Somebody else does that, not her.
Well,
she's got that in check. Like she doesn't come across as some bitchy queen that it's beneath her to make an outfit. However, she does not have the humbleness like of saying to herself, I need to get my hands around this. So, yeah.
I still think it's shit. How about you, Mr. Gary?
So I said outfits, and drama. Now, for those of you that didn't catch the pre-show, because you maybe perhaps have not become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/clubsoutloud, and for just $1 a month, you can get the extended episodes. A little nugget of something we discussed pre-show was about Untucked. So in this season of COLDR, we're not breaking down and talking about Untucked exclusively. However, it cannot be said that if there has ever been an episode that you needed to watch, this is one of them. There's usually at least one a season of the most recent seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And this does not have the hilarity of Heidi in closet standing up and saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. Because that was funny and is a classic moment. This definitively came across much more like there was going to be a physical altercation,
girl,
and the production team was going to have to step in.
Mama.
Like the energy was as high as Fifi and Sharon.
Yeah, but we found out that was fake.
Which brings me to this point. I don't know how much of it was manufactured. Because I will say this. For those of you that actually, now that I think about it, we should probably do this. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about because you missed Untucked and you have been under a rock or not on social media, especially Twitter and everybody's opinions. So we're going to end up doing this. So, Candy Muse is not amused with some of the other queens, and she decides that she is going to scrap verbally with Tamisha Iman, the drag mother of the bunch.
Oh, Mama, no.
I know. So I don't know how much I could say this was manufactured. It could have very well been done, and if it was created, that it was very well executed. However, Candy Muse, since the moment she arrived, has been this bratty,
vocal,
obnoxious, like not obnoxious as much as Silky was, I feel, in her season. But she's definitely
in a way,
she's definitely pulling attention.
Yes.
And she did not want to be shut down during Untucked. So she just kind of added and added and added and added. And I was just like, damn.
It kept building. It was building and building and building. And it got to that point. There was a point where, like, this is different than. So I hate like comparing things, but this is kind of what I'm feeling. This was very like getting up to the point where, no, this was beyond the point of like Eureka and the Vixen. Like they were at like they were kind of there, and they were having that moment. And it was kind of getting there, but then it kind of it fizzled out, like not relatively quickly, but fizzled out.
Right.
This one, I'm going to say, like, the pot was on the stove. It was not just starting to boil, like it was boiling, and it was starting to rumble, and it was very close to that lid popping off. And I again, if this was manufactured, like, good, like, kudos to you two, because it looked very real. So, yeah. I almost expected blows. Like, I was, because they kind of did this, like, circled around kind of moment, and they, like, Katie was going towards the door, and then Tamisha got up and came towards her, and they were like that close. They were close. They weren't too close, but they were within striking distance of each other.
Correct. And that is the distinct difference between like the Sharon and Fifi moment I mentioned before, like where the energy was similar, but in that one, Fifi was all the way over like next to the mirrors, and Sharon was like I think halfway across the room. So they were yelling at each other from feet away, and instead. They are like within bodily like distance of each other, and notably, like one of them is a tornado of emotion, and the other one is keeping themselves pretty centered. Now, that's not to say that Tamisha wasn't instigating. She knew full well what she was doing.
Oh, best believe. Like, I saw in Tamisha like the black mother it is fighting for her children, like that is about to like she is insulted, and she is not she is cool, calm, and collected ish, but she's about to like pop off is the word like that comes to mind, but like she's very, very close. And I have a feeling that had I'm just gonna be honest, if had Candy not left and they diffused the situation in a sense before then, we would have seen the Tamisha that Lala Ree was just talking about in the beginning of this episode. So, because I saw that in that, like, those flashes of her when they were pointing out to Tamisha, I was like, ooh, oh, she gonna beat your ass. Like, she is going to beat your ass, and probably not give two shits about it. Like that's just what I feel would have happened, and I don't know for sure, but I kind of feel that maybe that was the case. And thank heavens for like taking moments and diffusing situations and what have you. Yeah, because they were right there, like right there at that point. All it would have taken was for something to strike.
I'm looking for something on Twitter that I read from this weekend after the episode aired. Where the heck is it now? I'm pretty sure that it's Eureka that said it. And it amused me so much because it goes to what you were saying about hang on, this is going to drive me crazy. I'm sorry. That's about Gottmik. Where is... I'm recognizing these. Oh, and there's been this interesting thing recently where Utica and Kimura are teaming up in pictures together with looks. I don't know quite what that means, but I was intrigued by that. So come on, where is it at? There's that. There it is. So Eureka said, this is Eureka's Twitter post. Tamisha saying, "Lil girl made me sit straight up and act right when I'm at home on my couch." I was like,
yes.
Cracked me up.
She like Tamisha has that. I mean, she is a drag mother, and she is a mother. Like that is evident in the way she like the way the fight kind of started, quote unquote, was like it was very like here's Candy mouthing off and being loud and yelling and all that shit, and because that's what she does. And Tamisha was very much like at this very low key, low tone level. She was just letting her say what she needs to say, and then it gradually builds. We do know, Tamisha definitely, like, I'm not going to lie, like, Tamisha did get involved. It was instigation, and she was not backing down. And you could tell that as things kind of escalated.
Well, didn't she say in a previous confessional, like an episode ago, about like the A squad or the winners group or whatever she was talking about? She's like, because Elliot like popped off and said something about how she was selected, and Tamisha immediately was like, "My name wasn't chosen." Like, was it on the list
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
And there was this comment apparently where she said something about, like, I can't remember if she called herself a Doberman Pinscher or whatever. She's like, with all these little chihuahuas around me. And I was like, oh, girl.
Yeah. You pick the pit bull. The pit bull.
Yeah.
When with all these other little chihuahuas around and you decided to go after the pit bull. Like,
right.
She yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's move on to the next segment.
Come down. Put the bass in your walk.
All right, so Stomp the Runway category is the bag ball. And the queens have to present 3 looks. So we have mixed bag, which is an interpretation on the word bag. Then money bags, which is a business professional woman who owns everything. Keyword is opulence. And then bag ball eleganza is the final category, which is the one where they had to make it themselves in the workroom based off supplies provided. So. Yes.
Nothing.
So, David, what did you think of the runway looks?
So I kind of wrote down the underdogs, ... There were some very interesting looks that I wasn't expecting from some of the people that have kind of been overlooked in these episodes.
Okay.
I'll talk about the big one last, but Olivia Lux gave some very fun, like, interesting looks to me. I loved her final, like, runway look with the kind of green iridescent warrior battle suit going on. I keep calling her an underdog, but because she's not doing 100%, I don't think. That's why I keep calling her that.
Okay.
And actually, surprisingly, Rosé, I think, did really well in this runway, especially her mixed bag look, which was a nod to her Scottish heritage. I kind of like that. I really liked that. I thought that was really cute. And her which I'll get into later. Her other look, her executive realness look. And then finally, Miss Utica. That sleeping bag like ensemble that she created, like I have no words. That was gorgeous. It was considering what the material was. Yes, you still kind of get the sleeping bag from it.
Right.
I probably would have liked it if maybe you had done something different. Like, I know it's a lot of fabric potentially, but if you could have like done something with it, maybe a little more to kind of give it a little bit more flow. But that she had this like not asymmetrical. It was very long in the back kind of dress, and that collar that folded into the hood. I mean, come the fuck on. Like, how can you make that? And we find out on Untucked, I found out through Twitter, like Denali kind of mentioned that she was helping other girls, all the girls. So you made this garment, this look, help the other girls, and still had the other 2 looks to make and got painted and everything. When Miss Lalaurie over here is pasting bags to gift bags to a little corset. Like, how the fuck did you do this? in this time frame, especially working with like a fabric that is like I don't think is traditionally like easy to work with, because once it's, you know, kind of set in its form, it's set. Like, I don't know. It was
Right.
oh bam. Like shit, that was amazing. Yeah, go Utica. Like that's I am thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
When you got to keep your eye on, for sure.
Well, Michelle did say from the stage, from the judges panel, I'm pretty sure this is the moment when she said, when she comedically admitted that she can be wrong.
Yeah.
And she said that she pegged her at the very beginning as the kooky queen, like it's just the goofy one, the one that was really outside of the box. Not giving her credit for all of her skills, because it takes time for that to be revealed. So I think it's interesting that Michelle becomes the voice of the audience, the viewing audience, about how we, you know, try to put these contestants into our own, you know, containers as to how we see them. Yeah.
There's a reason Utica is on this show. And this was one of the reasons why she was on this show. Like, one of the top reasons. Because I'm just considering, okay, I'm just going to say it. Considering the looks that we all got throughout for this challenge, the, you know, bag ball eleganza looks, considering what everyone did. And then she did that. Like everyone kind of, well, not everyone, but like if everyone, like the toppers were here kind of in that moment, she was like up here with her look. You know, while they love got mixed, like reality is she kind of, that was an easy-ish make. You know, what Utica did was stunning. It could be fashion.
Yeah.
With the right tweaks. Like, it could have been fucking fashion. Like New York, Milan, whatever.
Right.
Like, could have been there.
Agreed. I said 36 runway presentations. These queens in 5 episodes have been put through presenting a fuck ton of different, like, looks, ensembles. You know, 36 in this episode alone. Yes. In drag. So, let alone whatever they decide to wear in the workroom that day, out of drag. Miss Elliott with 2 T's, don't think I didn't spot you in that rhinestoney, like, jacket thing, whatever the hell that was about, before Rue walks in. It's black, and also these, like, white, you know, kind of iridescent things. I was like, what is she, cold? Yeah. Probably, but I was like, that seems a bit showy to just wear around in the workroom for no reason. Girl.
Oh, Elliott's the other one, to me, that is showing up as the underdog, and I'm loving her poise in regards to the things that are happening to her. This is not the first episode that someone has, one person has called her out on, because she's done it twice now, and I'm getting a little miffed about it, and we'll get to this later. But her poise is very interesting, and I'm understanding her a little bit more as things go along. And I'm while her aesthetic is not current, I'm just gonna call it what it is, she's still doing a good job, and she's showing, because she did, like, I don't know how many beanbags there were, but there were at least 2, because we found out that, like, that her and Tina Burner used beanbags and made these looks, but her outfit that she made out of the beanbag material was also like top notch, very, very pretty. That capelet coat that she had on, just, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So don't call her out just yet.
No, I agree. There was definitely some really good looks that were presented and some very questionable decisions.
Ma'am.
I know. So, I will say this. Gottmik winning is okay. I'm not happy about it. Watching Trixie and Violet Chachki on the pit stop discuss all 36 outfits. And Violet being very opinionated, but she also has a very high expectation bar. So, like, to get a criticism from Violet is not a surprise, I feel. Because she suffers no fools. So she's like, Mama, either you're going to execute it at 1,000% or you're just not. Like, it's very black and white to her. Like, so, you know, and so she had a lot of no's. Like, she just wasn't thrilled or excited or whatever.
She pretty much hated everybody's money bag look. Like, just about everybody.
Yeah.
I
So,
think the only one she liked was Utica's.
yeah, one of the interesting things is she said she doesn't like about Utica. And I'm still thinking about it because Violet said it was. She goes, if she would drop the shtick on the runway and stop trying to present this character and let the outfit speak for itself, she would have liked it more. And specifically, she was talking about the Moneybags look, where it was obvious Utica was channeling Carol Burnett and her mannerisms.
And Chicago.
Yeah, and I really understand where Violet's coming from. I'm not mad at Utica, but I can understand Violet's outside perspective saying, girl, if you just reined it in, like if you just calm it down and just walk out and present it with confidence and walk it back, like, let the garment speak for itself. You don't have to try to sell it like with a characterization or whatever, which is not a bad feedback piece because that's been said before by the judges panel. Like, if you have a good looking outfit, you have a good looking outfit. Like, you don't need to do anything else to do it. But there are sometimes that queens are trying too hard to deliver something because they're trying to make up for something else.
Yeah.
And I think what Violet was saying is you don't have to do the making up. Like, you don't have poor taste or execution in some of this stuff. So, yeah. Found that to be very, very interesting. So, yes, there were 36 looks. It was a lot. I don't really disagree with anything that you said. A lot of the queens did present some interesting things. As expected, the fall down face plants were when it came to the making your outfit yourself. So
I go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
La La Ree. I've met girls like La La Ree, and by that I mean I've met queens who are not of the same commitment level, I guess is the only way I can phrase it, in terms of like time and energy to make something happen. And so I don't want to in any way say that she's not talented, because she is. And she is doing drag, but I feel like she's much more accustomed to having a concept of what she wants. And then she, as was kind of pointed out by Violet and Trixie, some queens have teams, or they have a house, or they have a family. And so, like, they get assistance in putting together and executing what they want. And I think that might be the case with La La Ree, that she has people around her that can help with things. And that's what was missing in this episode, was nobody was really there helping her. Do you know what I mean? And saying, here, girl, just hear me out, and take one bag and a pair of scissors and cut it Do you know what I mean? And flatten it out like a piece of
Yeah.
paper and just show her like this can be considered a piece. See how like it's double? Like there's so much more like
Yeah.
surface area, so much more you can do. Like, yeah. So like that, and it's interesting because now, granted, this could have been an edit. I mean, maybe some of the season 13 contestants, some of her sisters this season, did offer, and she just wasn't having it or wasn't hearing it. Where they showed Simone struggling, and the other girls like talking to her and being like, "Well, you could use a belt, made out of rope, run it through the rivet holes, like blah blah blah." Just so I don't know for certain, but everybody knew that's a struggle bus. That's where the problem lies, and that is where it's it's going to get clocked for being incomplete and undone and all that.
I was genuine. So if I'm trying to remember the episode fully correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Lala Ree had something made and it didn't work or it failed or something. Something happened, if I'm remembering the episode correctly. And this was her like next thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so, but I feel like that may have been something that was mentioned in the episode.
So she does say that she realized as she was making it that she ran out of bags. Because she had this whole idea that she was going to make the whole thing out of bags, and then she realized she didn't have enough bags. But that's also where she got the criticism about how she could have cut the bags. But she would have had twice the inventory.
Yeah. Fact, like 1,000 on that. Like, Mama, that was garbage. Like, let's just call it what it was. Like, I don't understand. And this is a full on criticism, and we don't know the full story. But I don't understand how any of the girls that were over there working with her or did anything would have been like you shouldn't even like go out with that. Like, don't, like, no. Like, I understand the idea of like conception, and I get the idea that maybe it was something that she thought might have worked, and in a different way it might have.
Right.
If she had like 1,000 of those bags and made like a full on like up and down like gown almost, like of the bags kind of alternating the pattern as it were.
Right.
Like, yes. 1,000% yes. But
right.
When I don't know who was watching you do this. I get it. You probably don't know how to sew. Like, that was like point number one, like deduction.
Right.
Like, I get that you probably didn't know how to sew. So you're going to have to rely on the hot glue and Jesus in this moment. But it just, I'm going to say this, and I have the confidence in saying it. I'm going to say this was by far one of the worst things ever presented on this runway. Like, in this kind of challenge, this was one of the worst, if not the worst.
I'm not going to disagree with you, because I'm pretty sure Rue said something to the effect when all the queens were off the stage and it was just the judges, because she said, we have seen the best and the worst. And I was like, she's not wrong.
It wasn't. It didn't even look like it was finished.
No,
it didn't look like anything. It looked like what it was, which was a bunch of bags glued to a corset.
Yes,
that is what it was and what it looked like, and that's not what you want, like, at all.
Right.
Like, at all. Like, no. And I felt bad for her because she kind of had to sell it, And there's a part of me that, and this is going to be so bad, but I'm going to feel the way I feel about it is I would have preferred if it had just fallen apart as she was walking down the runway. Like like bags just kept falling off and it just kind of just kept going. I don't know. It just, she at least she got through the runway and she seemed pretty, she was able to sell it, but I just something, it needed something. And just that moment of like cutting those bags in half, removing removing the handles, taking it apart, maybe cutting some like fake fringe, like just something.
Right.
Like, couldn't you have at least taken one of the bags and done like some eyelashes, like some paper eyelashes to actually, like, just bring it all. Anyway, just
I know.
bring it all together. Oh,
I know.
Mama. It was train wreck from start to finish, and it just kept going.
Yeah.
We all have choices. Some of us make the wrong ones.
Yes.
All right. You ready to move on to the next segment?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So next up is... Snaps and eye rolls. It's the hits and the misses, the high points and the low points of the episode. So, Damon, who are you giving snaps to?
So, I already kind of mentioned Utica. I haven't given snaps to her because I gave her a whole bunch of praise earlier. I'm actually giving my snaps to Miss Rose for her really fun, really kooky Bette Midler callback, especially considering what I talked about earlier today in the show. I loved her outfit. I thought it was so fun. I knew the minute she turned onto the runway, I was like, I know exactly what you're doing, and I loved it. It wasn't like campy. It was very just like a straightforward like interpretation of Miss Bette Midler in the movie Big Business. And I loved it. And while it was a simple like frock, it was well done, well made. I don't know who made it. If you made it, kudos to you, Miss Rose. If someone made it for you, kudos to them. It just like hit the right button for me, and it was exactly what I needed at that moment. So good for her.
I agree with you. I was pleasantly surprised to see Rose in it, and I instantly recognized it because we are of children of an age, and we knew when the movie came out, so we recognized right away what it was a call out to. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I didn't have any one moment, I want to say, that really stood out to me. But I realized collectively I want to give snaps to the queens that delivered completed concepts. By that I mean, like, I knew exactly what I was looking at when I saw it.
Okay.
So even though I'm not a fan of this bitch, Denali's runway for the bag ball eleganza, the moment she turned the quarter, I got it. I knew what the holiday was. I knew what the reference was. I was a little disappointed that she didn't white her face out for Sugar Skull.
Yeah,
It's a little confusing to me. But, there were just definitely some looks that really kind of, made sense to me. As I'm seeing them in the moment, as they come up. I will say that Elliot with 2 T's gift bag was simple but fun.
Yeah.
Tamisha Iman's old bag was funny, but I feel like it needed more, and I just don't know what.
Yeah.
Not quite sure.
I think honestly, if I'm going on about it, she needed like a bag and like threw out peppermints or something kind of like that. Like a big ass, like a huge like purse bag. Like and just like
Right.
just I mean, full of like peppermints and butterscotches and
Right.
you know, something
Kleenexes,
along
handkerchiefs.
yes, just like
Yes.
give me that like old lady that has everything in that purse.
Right. Cat food.
Yeah. If she had a pussy in that yeah, that would have been
A stuffed animal. Right. I was just gonna say, like, that
Yes.
probably would have been the stuff that made it laugh. Olivia Lux. When she came out in the boxing thing, I did not in any way feel that I was seeing a duplication of Simone's look.
Fact.
She was beautiful in the execution, and when she talked about Muhammad Ali's daughter, I instantly saw like the look. Like Muhammad Ali's daughter is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, you know, she's a beautiful woman and she is a boxer. Like, and so, you know, when she said she kind of wanted to have an homage to her, and I was like, yes, girl. Like that was definitely one that, that I really kind of, liked in that case. Who's the other one I'm thinking about? Olivia Lux's, last look. So, it was a full concept, and I feel a little like torn up about this because it appeared to me that she had a bodysuit or a two-piece or something that she put stuff on, and that and sometimes that can be a criticism when it comes to making an outfit. However, Violet and Trixie said flat out, if there's anything you need to know before you get on Drag Race, learn how to make one outfit. Make 7,000 of that outfit. Bianca Del Rio, what? But the reality is you make one silhouette outfit and then you just stick shit on it. Like, and that's how you get through the challenge of making an outfit.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that Olivia, you know, did that, but it was so beautiful. Like these iridescent, like jewel toned bags with these like little metal, and they weren't handcuffs, although that's the joke that Nicole Byer made. I think, I mean, it was just, she looked like a sci-fi kind of warrior princess.
Yeah.
I mean, it was aesthetically so well done. And that's what I mean by a completed look. Like, I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking at, but I didn't hate it. Like, I wasn't bothered by it. I really enjoyed it. And if she showed up at a gig and wore that outfit with the right number, yes. Like that would have been a whole thing.
Agreed.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I felt about that. Oh boy! All right, you knew it's coming. Eye rolls, Damon. Who or what are you giving eye rolls to?
Okay, so there is one thing I wrote down that bothered the ever-loving fuck out of me.
Okay.
During this episode, these is two parts. It's the same person, but it's two parts.
Okay.
So the first thing that I wrote down in all caps, stop showing candy.
Okay.
And this was in relation to the elimination. So spoiler alert, Miss Joey J is sent home. Now we find out we've been talking about this that Candy kind of has a crush on Shut up, Jim. I'm he has there's a crush, and during Joey's elimination, they kept showing Candy, her face, her reactions, whatever, and I was pissed off. I did not need to see that. There was no need for it because nothing has been established. There's just a crush. This is not like
Right.
This is not the Brooklyn Heights / Banshee like thing. This is a like, oh, he cute. Like, that's kind of what this is. They are not an established relationship. They have not established anything. It seems pretty fucking clear that Joey does not return the affection. Like, we didn't need all this. Like, why do we keep panning to Candy? Like, why? Like, I get she's TV, whatever, but like, I was so pissed at that. It just pissed me off because there was no need for it. This is not her moment, and this is Joey's moment to finally say goodbye and what have you. And I wanted to see that. Let's give the queen who's leaving the competition her moment.
Right.
My final thing, also about Miss Candy, shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. I need you to stop with the mouth. And I understand that you are opinionated. I get that you are New York, and I get that you are a feisty, like that this is your personality or whatever. But ma'am, you need to learn when to shut up and shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Like that is point blank period how I'm feeling at this moment in regards to her. There was you. Okay, let's just go into Untucked first of all. Well, no. We can talk about it in the episode. So in the episode, they're talking about like they all come together after everything is gone and Kimura's been sent home, and we're talking about like who's competition. You call out Simone because she's your competition because she's won twice. Tamisha calls you out on it, which I think is a fair call out because no offense, you got this is the kind of second like end of the first episode where you all have come together. So you don't know the girls that much. You know them somewhat because you've had this episode, but you don't know everybody yet. So like, that's what I think Tamisha was trying to get across with her. You know, she's not the only competition here. Like, don't get it twisted. Then we get into Untucked. You did not, and I repeat, did not need to say what you said to Elliot. There was no need for it whatsoever. No need for it. And the fact that you said it and then you're offended that she's like calling you out about it and the other girls are saying things about it. Like you told her, what did she tell her? I was so mad I didn't even write it fucking down. Like I was just like, like you need more self-awareness. You need more self-awareness. Like shut the fuck up. Like you need more self-awareness because I just don't think that was something you would say to a queen. Another person.
I'm not gonna
get what she was. Go ahead.
I'm not going to defend her. I'm just simply going to say that other people that I follow online have been retweeting Candy because I was just going to say I'm not following Candy. Why do I keep seeing all this shit of hers pop up? But other people have been posting what Candy's posting. And I'm looking for the one thing that she said because I found it really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She made a post about how what was missing was why she said what she said to Elliot, and that there were microaggressions that were never shown. And that's part of why she popped off the way she did. And she's seeing, like, it's out of context. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, she said, also, I hope at some point my other season 13 sisters will speak up about the microaggressions we felt on set. Me saying, quote, have some sense of awareness, end quote, did not come out of nowhere.
Okay.
So I'm only saying that because that's what she's saying. Maybe there's more to the story, but I do agree, like, that, like, does not help your narrative. Like, how you're being manufactured for the show, you're coming across as a bully, as a bitch, as a fighter, as someone who is just ready to pop off at any moment, who has a very short fuse, and, you know, will take it physical if necessary. You know, we'll break a bottle over some bitch's head if necessary, if you feel it comes to that. And that's problematic, I think. But
and we've always talked about it, you know, and again, there's my, you know, taking a step back and looking at it like maybe again it's a TV show and she's loud and she's aggressive and she will say what she wants to say. So it is entirely possible that, I'm not saying it's manufactured, but she's getting that edit. We're getting that edit. But the next part about this was the fight did happen.
Right.
Like, we know it happened. And her fight was with Tamisha, and they were going at each other, and the things that were said were said. And there could have been a very simple moment where you could have taken a moment and paused. I get that maybe that's not you, but as we, the audience, are slowly coming to realize who you are, what we're seeing is not positive.
Right.
I am genuinely concerned.
Yeah. By the time her story arc ends on the show, unless she has some type of, like, redemption, she will be like the evil villain of the season and viewed as much and probably treated as much. I forgot what I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted by technology.
Yes.
Shit. What were we discussing? We were talking about...
we were talking about Candy and you mentioned the microaggressions.
Oh, right. So anyways, apparently there's been something going on in the workroom that we haven't been privy to, and that's where Candy came from or kind of popped off. Anyways, the other thing, I know what I was saying, which you might not have heard, was Candy also was posting, and a lot of the queens were coming out. Apparently, the fandom has been threatening Candy's mother.
Okay.
And a lot of the queens are like, hell to the no. Like, if you hate a queen, that's one thing. Like, and the fact that you have an opinion is one thing, but that's where it should stop. Like, if you don't support this queen, so be it. If you're not interested, blah, 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 like all this kind of stuff. But you need to, like, step off and not.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Fact. So I totally was, I was going to not really get to that, but that was kind of the thing. Like, this is why queens sometimes don't want to do this show. This is part of why, like, girls don't want to get involved in this moment, because the fans can be toxic. And it's not just this. There are other, shows and things like that too, but this is one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Like, I get that the show is mainstream. I get that it's kind of be gone to the masses, so everyone can kind of see it now. But there comes a line. There's a line, And if you cross that line, like, holy fucking shit, like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
This is, while these are people and they have real lives, what we are seeing on the show is not reality.
Correct.
It is television. We are seeing edited versions of these people in one way, shape, or form. While I will admit, Katie is not my person. I was definitely like, fuck, like, I'm in this moment of like, shut up and all that stuff. And I'm saying all those things. That's because of what I'm getting presented.
Right.
I am sure, just like every other girl that has been on this show, there is more to her than what we're seeing.
Right.
There is no need at all, point blank period, to get a queen's family involved in things, let alone the queen herself. Like, things have been mentioned. We've talked about this before. We've heard this before from, like, on the show, both previous queens and current queens and all that stuff. We have heard things where they are getting, like, threatened and potentially assaulted. Like, all of these things are happening, and it doesn't make. I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong, because people are stupid. But, like, reality being what it is, like, there's no need for it. There's no need to be like, if you don't like if you don't like a drag queen, like if you don't like a drag queen, don't watch them in a show. Don't go to the show. Don't promote them. Don't follow them on Twitter. Don't, like, give them tips. Don't do all those things. You can do all those things if you do not like a girl's performance or what have you or whatever. Like, you don't have to engage them. You can literally leave them alone and be done with them. And that's fine. They have people that can take care of them. We know that. So there is no need to go after them in such a disgusting negative way, ever.
Right.
Like, so when I saw that, it bothered me. Because to me, not that I'm ever going to be like as famous as that kind of thing, but that to me is like someone talking to my mom or calling my mom up on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not for that.
Right.
Like it just, yeah, like, I don't, you know, we've met their families on some of the episodes in the past. We've met, you know, families and stuff. Like, we know Vanjie's mother, who's beautiful, by the way. So, like, that to me is kind of that what I'm going at. Like, it just, there's no need to get the family involved.
Right.
There's no need to get, like, the partner or the husbands or the wives or whatever involved in your drama. You don't need to be reaching out to them. If you don't like the queen, give it, like, I hate to say give your hate to the queen, but, like, you can dislike the queen and just avoid her.
Right. Yeah, I think the court of public opinion, for some reason, feels emboldened at times, or people within the court of public opinion, I should say, certain individuals in groups of population feel that they should, like, you know, take actions that are, in my opinion, it's like, it's not called for. If you think they're in the wrong, like, if you think they've made a mistake, you think they need to be held accountable, there are ways to go about that. Just popping off online is not necessarily helpful. And then, and then taking it to the next level and threatening them with harm, threatening their families, like, you know, that's really, we just a few weeks ago in the U.S. had an insurrection at our nation's capital because of people's attitudes and behaviors and like their thought process being trapped in a rinse and repeat cycle that kind of feeds itself. So I think that's part of the issue that we see is, you know, the broader community that's in support of drag. It's like, we don't need that here. We have no time for that.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah.
None of this is necessary.
Yeah.
So we got through mine, I think. It kind of went off on a tangent, but that's okay. That happens. What about you?
I just simply said insecure drama. That's what I'm giving eye rolls to, because that's exactly what I saw. Every time this kind of thing happens on a season or within a show, I see it for what it is. Candy is afraid. Candy is upset. Candy is mad. Like she's steeped, stewing, pot stirring, whatever. Like she's really on the side of negative emotions, and it comes out in her behaviors. Like it's this whole concept about your feelings beget your thoughts beget your actions beget your behavior. Like it's this whole kind of thing. And I'm like, girl, no offense, I'm not licensed, but you need therapy. Like you need to go see somebody, I think, because you pop off way too fast, way too quick, way too easy with an opinion about everything. You're incredibly defensive. Like you think people are out to get you. And while I can understand that, yes, as a bad stereotype, New York queens are loud. New York queens are defensive. New York queens are the first to come out swinging. And I mean, we kind of had that from Chicago as well. Like, these certain city populations that drag is much more combative, which I roll an eyebrow at that concept anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but these are stereotypes, and what doesn't help in any way, shape, or form is most of the time when we see this representation through the lens of television, time and time again, it appears to be a queen of color. Not helping. And I'm not blaming the queens. This television show is not helping. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like we've discussed it before, if you don't give them the footage, they can't use it.
Yeah.
So if you keep your mouth shut and you mind your P's and Q's, then guess what? You don't get shown on television. So I think it's a very fine line to recognize the entertainment medium for what it is, to want to be a star, to draw the attention, to have a certain kind of behavior. But I will say this, while Silky Nutmeg Ganache annoyed the fuck out of me, she had a balance to her about her spirit. She is an educated person. She is a spiritual person. And so her defense mechanism was humor. Like she would try to be funny or to poke fun or make fun of things because, I think she always felt like people were like observing her for obviousness in certain ways, that made her uncomfortable. So she used that as her, like her battle armor or whatever. Yeah. Candy Muse, on the other hand, though, is just loud and obnoxious and calls things out and is highly combative. And I'm like, girl, I don't know what the story is as to why you really have so much energy that you put behind this. Now, I'm not saying that she should do a 180 and she should become, like a child of God or whatever you believe in, and, I don't want to see her swing to the other end like Utica, and be, a fairy and, an angelic or whatever, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's just like, girl, I think you've got things to process, and it becomes super obvious because once you start getting amped up, there's kind of no turning back. I am also annoyed with all of the queens. Almost all of the other 12 outside of Candy, when she was on the attack, would not push back on her. So when you start going one by one in a group and asking a question, you're out of line. Yes. Like you are out of line. You are obviously in a mood, in a moment, and I'm disappointed that none of the other girls called her out on it. Like nobody wanted to be in her target, and that annoyed me because I thought if I was a part of that cast, I would have called her out in that moment. I would have been like, "Hold up, sis. Why are we doing the Inquisition? Why are you trying to sort out who's your friend and who's your enemy? Like, we're not trying to make you feel a certain way. you're choosing to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Candice can hear that. I don't think she's
Yeah.
able to get that message at the moment. So I'm in the camp of, I'm just going to kind of watch, like, Tamisha was really good until the Untucked of this episode to just kind of keep quiet and watch. And she did say an episode ago about how she would start speaking up when she felt more comfortable. And part of me is like, girl, I don't know if you really should have said anything. Like, I kind of feel maybe you should have just, stayed quiet a little longer.
I think the biggest, the turning point with this moment, with Tamisha, was the way that she phrased her response. So she was trying to give constructive criticism, although I don't really want to call it that, but like praise to the girls regarding everything that they had done. Like, we turned it out kind of thing. And she caveated it with this, like, there are some girls in the competition I don't like. And I don't know if that was exactly what she said, but she kind of said something to that effect. And I was just like, the minute you said that, it became a defensive moment. And again, I know she was trying to not aim it directly at Kandi, but Kandi was already, I think, at that moment, like right before it, was kind of in this like defense mode. So she caught on to that and caught on to like the way Tamisha was apparently staring at her, and took that as a jab at her. Having said that, I feel, and this is my feeling on it, I feel that Kandi, like you said, is insecure. Kandi has not, to me, presented to the level that her persona and demeanor have. And I'll give some facts on that, kind of some basis on that. During the congratulations, where she messed up on her choreo and her outfit didn't get the greatest, moments and critiques. She was in the Untucked crying because she thought she was in the bottom and she was afraid of going home. And I get it that it was her and Gottmik and all that stuff, but like she was very much like concerned. And she got that relief when no one went home. Yay for that. We go into the next episode where we see her, and this is the Trains for Days moment where she got good critiques for the performance because she was over the top and funny and loud, and she was kind of her clowny self, which I kind of get. And they clocked her for her runway. And it was at that point where, while she was, I think, safe. No, she was technically in the top. Like Jim and I talked about it on the episode. She was technically in the top based on her performance. But if you put them in order, like Simone won, whoever was second. To me, whoever was next was second. And then to me, Kandi was third. And then you got the bottom three. And then here we are again in this this challenge, and she's safe. And no offense, I think she was safe based mostly on her first two looks than she was for her bag ball like construction look. So she's not presenting to the level I think in her head that she feels she should be, and that she presents. Like she is this very confident, but I feel she's overconfident. I think that's what Tamisha was clocking on her. She's overconfident. She's over aggressive about things that she should, I think, be a little bit more concerned about. She's not presenting well.
Well, she doesn't seem to be humble.
Yeah.
Really. Like, but that's a classic trope though. Like, you have to have a fall from grace. Like, you have to fuck up. You have to make a mistake. Like, you have to really take a hard hit before the lesson kind of perhaps is learned that you know. So, and if she wasn't, you know, if that's not part of her upbringing, if it's not a part of her background, you know, I think that's the distinction that Tamisha sees is, girl, I've been doing this shit longer than you've been alive. Mm-hmm. So I've made mistakes. I've learned my lessons, and I see in you the potential. But right now, like, you're just, you know,
Little girl.
right.
I saw that eye roll, Carrie.
Well, you know, so there's that. Yeah, so I definitely think there's a lot of insecure drama going on.
Yes.
And some people, you know, know how to handle themselves well, and others not so much. Not so much.
Yeah. Not so much. No.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else before we close up here?
No.
So, yeah, Joey J sashayed away, went home. I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how much more Joey does drag. And here's why I say that. Joey kind of strikes me as in the circle of Sasha Bell and Jeremy. Jeremy being the artist formerly known as Fifi O'Hara. Because Jeremy has said that Fifi O'Hara was a character and like didn't really want to present that character anymore. So I found that really interesting. And Joey said in the Whatcha Packin' episode with Michelle Visage about the decision to not wear hair and to do like their own hair and do their own thing and this and that. And I really get this impression that Joey just wants to be Joey. And that's why I'm like, I'll be curious to see like how much more drag comes in the future. I think it will for the coming year because she's a Rue girl.
Yeah.
But whether or not, you know, that continues on, I don't know. That's just a kind of a gut like speculation, and there's no judgment in it. I'm intrigued. So, you know, yeah, I'll be curious to see where that comes out. It's interesting because I was thinking about the queens, and since we have that, I don't have it ready. I'll have to do it in post show. So, you know, we have, you know, these queens that are exiting. And now that we're down 2, we've got 11 to go. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty consistent from here on out. We're going to get one a week. If we get a save, I'll be kind of surprised.
Oh.
Because we had 3 episodes to extend the premiere that gave everyone some good establishment of the characters of the contestants. So I don't know if it's really going to be necessary to have a save later on to like, unless somebody really does royally fuck up and then, you know, during the lip sync proves that they shouldn't go home. I could see that, but for the sake of like extending the season by another episode, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see where that comes out at. But obviously we've had lots to say about the most recent episode of Drag Race. So if you would like to let us know your thoughts, there's several ways to do that. You can go to cubsoutloud.com to our website blog, and you can comment there, get in contact with us that way. You can also just simply send an email to cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You could also leave us a voicemail message, and we would actually play it and listen to it on the show if you'd let us. And you could call us at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. On social medias, pretty much type in Cubs Out Loud anywhere: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that. You'll find us. We do have a social media chat platform on Telegram. You may have heard of it recently. It's tinyurl.com/telegram -COLDR if you would like to join just that group. Particular if you're not familiar with the Telegram platform. And our moratorium's about to be lifted now that it's Sunday night, and it's been basically 48 hours since the episode aired. So some of the queens have already started. Some of the queens, listen to me. Some of the girls have already kind of wanted to say something about this episode. So also, if you'd like to know when we're going to record our regular season shows, we have a Google Calendar at tinyurl.com/calendar-col. For our regular shows right now, this season of COLDR, we're just pretty much recording one a week. I had to get a computer upgrade, which I recently got. So I don't know if we're going to try to switch it up and go live with these at the moment. I think we might test that in the future with something else. If you would like to support Cubs Out Loud, there's several ways to do that. One, obviously, is you can go to zazzle.com/cubsoutloud. And the reason why I say obviously is because Damon and I are wearing merch. So the the Consent is My Foreplay shirt series has several different designs. We are both wearing the one that is Drag Queen Pride, hence it has a crown and the color scheme. So you could get yourself a t-shirt over there. They currently have a sale, I think, for 15% off on products over there. We also have other items of merch, like we have hats, mugs, all sorts of different houseware things and items of that sort. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/cubsoutloud for as little as $1 a month. You get access to the cut episodes where we include like the before and the after stuff of what happens. If you would like to just make a one-time donation, you can go to paypal.me/cubsoutloud and send us some moolah that way. We would greatly, take your tips. If you would like to promote us, you could go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars only, please. That's what we would like. And we would be happy with that. You could also subscribe to us pretty much anywhere online, or in a social platform that you can find us for the feeds. We do have a separate RSS feed specifically for Cubs Out Loud Drag Race shows. And if you go to our YouTube channel, there is a playlist that is just, subset that's nothing but COLDRs if you want to watch those. Mr. Damon, where would they find you online if they wanted to get in touch? You're muted, darling.
Okay.
She's pretty, y'all.
Take 2. Thank God I'm pretty. If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCup79 on most bear-related sites or on Facebook. Or you can find me as pup_umbra on Twitter. The Twitter is definitely not safe for work, but it is a mix of everything from porn and peen to Drag Race and drag queens that I follow. So go for it.
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gerber73. I have a Twitter account specifically regarding drag that's Gerber73Drag, where I follow a lot of the Rue Girls and some others and see the things that I kind of reference here on the show and, haven't reposted a whole lot or retweeted a whole lot, but I find it very interesting to kind of put everybody in a little pool and then kind of observe it remotely from there. There's some interesting stuff to be found in there. But that being said, this is episode 5 of season 13 of COLDR, The Bag Ball, darling. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm reading your comment in the chat.
Well, she said it.
I know, right? I'm sitting here like pot kettle, honey. Ooh.